One of the most disturbing and heartbreaking cases in recent history is that of Andre Thomas, a man whose life was marked by severe mental illness, devastating childhood trauma, and a brutal crime that shook the world. But what's even more shocking is how the system failed to intervene before it was too late. Welcome to Safekeepia. Today, we're diving deep into the tragic case of Andre Thomas, a case that raises critical questions about mental health, the justice system, and the horrifying consequences of untreated psychosis. But more importantly, we'll be discussing the crucial safety measures that can help prevent such tragedies from happening again. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe for more true crime cases and essential safety tips. Now, let's get started. The case of Andre Thomas. Andre Thomas was born on March 17, 1983, in Sherman, Texas. From the start, his life was filled with instability, poverty, and severe mental health struggles. His family had a long history of mental illness, substance abuse, and violence. His mother, Rachel, was unable to care for him, and his father, Danny, came from a similarly troubled background. Despite this, Andre was a bright child. He excelled in school, showed talent in art and mechanics, and dreamed of becoming a car designer. But the constant instability, frequent moves, neglect, and exposure to violence slowly took its toll. At the age of 10, Andre began hearing voices. By 11, he was engaging in petty crimes. By 12, he had stolen a car. His mental health spiraled rapidly, but no one intervened. Despite multiple suicide attempts, psychotic episodes, and erratic behavior, Andre never received proper psychiatric care. Then came March 27, 2004, a date that would forever be etched in infamy. In the grip of a severe psychotic break, Andre committed one of the most horrific crimes imaginable. Believing he was fulfilling a divine mission, he took the lives of his ex-wife Laura Boren, their 4-year-old son Andre Jr., and her 13-month-old daughter Leah. The details of the crime were gruesome and disturbing, a chilling testament to the depth of Andre's psychosis. He later confessed that he believed his victims were demonic entities and that he needed to remove their hearts to rid the world of evil. Days after his arrest, Andre gouged out his right eye, citing a Bible verse about removing the part of the body that causes sin. Years later, he removed his other eye and ate it, convinced that the government was using his eyes to read his thoughts. Despite overwhelming evidence of severe schizophrenia, the court found him competent to stand trial. He was convicted and sentenced to death, though his case continues to raise serious ethical and legal debates about the execution of mentally ill individuals. Safety tips: how to recognize and respond to a mental health crisis. This case highlights a major systemic failure, one that led to an unspeakable tragedy. But there are critical warning signs that, if recognized in time, can help prevent such catastrophic outcomes. 1. Recognize early warning signs of severe mental illness. If someone is experiencing delusions, hallucinations, paranoia, or extreme mood swings, don't ignore it. Common signs include hearing voices or seeing things that aren't there, believing they are receiving messages from God, the government, or unknown entities, speaking incoherently or having disorganized thoughts, expressing extreme paranoia or fear that people are out to harm them, self-harm or suicide attempts. If someone you know is exhibiting these signs, they need professional help immediately. Do not wait for a crisis to happen. 2. Encourage professional help, even if they resist. Many people experiencing severe mental illness are unable to recognize their own condition. This is known as anosognosia, a lack of awareness of their illness. If they refuse help, contact a trusted mental health professional. If they are a danger to themselves or others, call emergency psychiatric services instead of just the police. Encourage medication compliance and regular therapy. 3. Never ignore threats or extreme behavior. Andre Thomas spoke about his hallucinations, suicide attempts, and delusions for years, but he was ignored. If someone makes violent threats, even if they sound delusional, take them seriously. If someone has a history of violence and untreated mental illness, don't assume they will snap out of it. If you or a loved one feel unsafe, create a safety plan and reach out to a crisis intervention team. 4. Ensure children are never left in harm's way. One of the most tragic elements of this case is that Laura Boren and her children were unprotected despite the clear warning signs. If you are in a relationship with someone exhibiting dangerous behavior, do not dismiss their actions. Always prioritize your safety and the safety of your children. If you are in an abusive or dangerous situation, seek help from a domestic violence or crisis shelter. 5. Know when to contact authorities. If someone is experiencing a severe mental health crisis and becomes violent or erratic, call mental health crisis teams if available in your area. If calling law enforcement, be clear that it is a psychiatric emergency. Do not attempt to handle a severely psychotic person alone. Andre Thomas was failed by the system, his family, and society. His case is a tragic example of what happens when mental illness goes untreated. If the right interventions had been in place, 3 innocent lives could have been saved, and perhaps so could Andre's. Mental health is not a crime, but ignoring it can lead to devastating consequences. If you or someone you know is struggling, don't wait until it's too late. Speak up, seek help, and take action. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to Safekeepia for more crime cases and life-saving safety tips. Stay aware, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.